Patcham. I was born in Patcham, just outside of Brighton. Well, part of Brighton actually, part of the borough of Brighton. Went to school there.
And your parents?
Oh, my father was a coal lumper. He delivered coal around. And my mother was a housewife, except during the war she drove an electric milk cart. I had a brother, Reg, and a younger brother, not younger than me, but between my eldest brother and myself, Dick, or Reginald, not Dick, Richard I should say. My brother, the eldest brother was Reginald. I don't remember a great deal about them, except I remember they used to, before the war, and I was only a kid, they used to take me to the sports ground of football. They usually used to play football, but as soon as the war come, Reg went to almost, well, he was old enough, he was just started, no he wasn't. He joined up. My other brother wasn't quite old enough, but he did sign up a few months after his brother. So they was overseas for the duration of the war. Well, at least they was either training and then they went overseas. I went to a little place about 40 miles away, between London and Brighton. And I spent the war years there with me grandfather and grandmother. I think it would have been a 10-acre property, somewhere about that. They just had an orchard and they were retired, so they didn't do much. Had a few geese, a few ducks, and they had a calf now and again they used to buy, a big paddock, plus an orchard and fowl pens and what have you. It was quite a good time, but I didn't see a great deal of the war. I'd had a few bombs dropped into things and windows rattling and that, but not a great deal. Spent a lot of time in air raid shelters. But it doesn't come home to you when you're young unless you're really close to the bombing. A little place called Burgess Hill. Somewhere about D-Day, just before, no, it was just after D-Day, when it was pretty obvious that the war was going to end. I went up home. I was 13 or 12, I think about 12 when I went back home, and then I went to school at Brighton, but I left when I was 14. And just after D-Day, I think it was, the No, it was just before D-Day, yeah. A little bit early, not really early. Went to work in the garage for 3 months, I didn't like it. Post office telegraph boy after that, but until the time I come out here, when I was just 15, when I got on the boat. Best time in life was coming across on the boat, because it was just one of the last ones to go by boat. Soon after I got here, they started sending them out by air. They're under the Big Brother movement, just an immigration for boys that come out. And you were just introduced to what they call a Big Brother here. They appointed somebody to take away the slightly replace the family, or they just made a bit of a fuss of you for the first week or two till you got acclimatised. Then I went to Liverpool, or we were the first mob that went there. We had 3 months training there to acclimatise us to Australia and working life on it. All the boys went to an agricultural pursuit, job, mainly on stations that all over Australia. I went straight to after Bring Jelly, after the farm just outside of Liverpool. We went to I went straight to Picton, where I worked for 3 years on a dairy farm. I left the dairy farm and then I went in. That's where into town, few jobs, but then I joined the army and then come back to Picton when I was stationed, and another 12 months where I was in that, got married Patsy, and settled in Penrith for a while till I joined the army. Then I got, after I'd done my recruit training, we were sent to Melbourne, to Mount Martyr, done a course up there, and then we were sent back to things. Then after a while I left the army and I met Mum in between and got married. And then I went back to Picton and various jobs, mainly on the Shire, down the mines, labouring, whatever it was. Whatever was there. Chased the dollar a bit wherever the hire, because that's when the Snowy was building, everything was booming, and you could walk out of one job one day and get started dinner time in another, very well. No trouble with getting work in them days. And I used to chase the dollar a bit to higher paid jobs until I got back on the Shire, and that was good. Regular job for a while, DMR, and all sorts of things. That was good. Then the family come. Maybe 10 kids and a miscarriage in between. So yeah, we done all right. Then the biggest tragedy of my life was when the two boys were killed. One 17, one 15. Worker in Stephen. But time passes. Then I retired, round about a bit, but came up to Wellington, hung around, made a lot of friends, and rang around. As I said, I made friends and settled down in Wellington in the long run and that. But in 64, I think, 64, 63, 64, I forget now. And met Daniel and his family. Well, we knew Betty. Mum met her in the hospital down there at Crown Street. Well, I missed out a bit of it. I said I used to go to they think I got a kick in the ankle when I used to go football. We were playing football. My brothers used to play, well, big football, you know.
Yep.
But we used to kick around behind the goal. I was only about 3 or 4, just toddling around. And I must have got a kick somewhere, and I come down with osteomyelitis. That's why I got that big scar on my leg, that one there. Can be very dangerous. I was a bit of a cripple for a while, but...
Tell me what you remember about your mum.
I remember she was fair-haired and a little bit curly and always cheerful, I thought. Though she was sick during the war, she Must have got, she ever had a bit of a stay in the sanatorium because she had a touch of TB, a spot on her lung. She had to go, you know. She wasn't well at that time. As I told you, they had electric milk carts, and she used to go out very well. There's ice and snow in the winter, you know, so she probably didn't improve her body. This spot on her lung, and she went to the sanatorium for a while. That's probably why I was so long at me grandmothers and grandfathers. I know Myrtle was born, that's my sister was born now at, somewhere during the war, I just forget now, but I was at, what's his name? Yeah, well, I think I was about 12, I think, when she was born. So I would have been up there during the war.
And what about your dad? What do you remember of your dad?
Except he was a fairly burly figure, I think, very well. Though he looked into me, but not terribly tall. I suppose I was only 15 when I got on the boat, so I was probably a bit taller than him, but he was very, very broad. Well, he was fairly strong too, because I remember thinking how easy he picked up the bags of coal, and he used to carry them up concrete steps, and buddy would put them in. And I remember he used to have it on his shoulder, and they was all stiff with coal dust. And I remember everybody just want to shoot it in the bloody coal hole sometimes, about a couple of foot square in the door. He used to shoot it and show you down the chute into the house. Got upstairs with them, and I've seen him picking up, doing it in the rain when I went with him a couple of times. He'd pick up the bag and there's water would slosh out the bag, whatever. So I don't know how that affected him in his later life, but they both died young, comparatively. In the very early 70s, if I remember right. I was out in Australia at the time. But that's all right.
So do you remember the last time you had contact with them?
Oh, yeah. I got a letter from his mother or something. Then once I got working, well, I used to work, around about 4 in the morning, getting cows into buddy, sometimes 8 o'clock at night, so I never really had a time. When I was on the 3 years on the dairy farm, I never had time to work 6.5 days a week. So then on Sunday afternoon, my day off, I used to play football, so I never really had any time to think about things like that. Maybe from time to time. And then I got married after a while, and then busy again in different matters. But and then his sister used to write, and she came to Australia. His brother come out, and I saw them there, but that's really the last time I had any contact with them. I've made a few attempts to try to find them, but not yet. I haven't heard anything about him. I haven't heard anything since my brother went back home. He was retired, he was a police inspector, and he must have had a bit of money put away because he'd come to Australia and drove around Australia. Then he was going home and going to Spain, build a house there, or buy a house, whatever he thought. He was married at the time. He got married after he came out there. After the war was over.
Which brother was that?
Reg, the oldest one.
Oldest one.
That'll do for today.
Yep. All right.